Are you traveling to Portugal? Today we're talking about 10 things you should absolutely not do in this country. Let's go. First and foremost, don't try to speak Spanish in Portugal. First of all, in Portugal, there is a Portuguese language. Second of all, Portuguese people get really offended when you say gracias or something like that. Just no, if you cannot speak Portuguese, do not attempt to speak Spanish. Just be on the safe side and speak English. People in big cities like Lisbon or Porto, they will speak English to you, especially if you stick to the touristy spots, 100%. But never say gracias in Portugal. You will get at least the looks. At max, someone will say something to you. But if you want to become best friends with a Portuguese person, tell them how much you hate the Spanish. Oh my friend, you'll be best friends by the end of the night. The second thing to avoid is trusting the maps. I've learned it the hard way. You literally like, oh, let's go to the coffee shop, it's around the corner. The map is like, oh, it's a 5-minute walk. Mostly flat. And then you go around the corner and it's uphill like this. So instead of walking for 5 minutes, you're walking for like 10 or even 15. And if it was raining last night, my friend, just take a bicycle, just take an Uber. Don't, because you'll be sliding down those hills because the calzada is super slippery. And if you travel into Portugal, the third thing to avoid is to stay in Lisbon only. Portugal is much more than Lisbon. I'm saying that in every video I film about Portugal, that Lisbon is not Portugal. You have better, more beautiful places available to you. Yes, you can spend a few days here in Lisbon, but that should be it. Rent a car, go places, go south, go to Carvoeiro, go to Camporta, go to Troia, go to Costa de Caparica. If you want to go up north, there are places like Mafra, there are places like Porto. There's Douro Valley, where you can get on the train, do the wine tour, and it's just amazing. Don't spend like a week in Lisbon. Yes, Lisbon is kind of like a big city, but trust me, you can see everything you want to see in like 2-3 days maximum. And the next thing is crucial if you go into Portugal. Don't forget to wear sunscreen, even in winter, even if it's cloudy, even if there is no sun. When I moved to Portugal, I've learned that UV index can be 10 out of 10. And I was like, what? In Canada, it's like 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. You're like, yeah, okay, so the sun is there. Here, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, 15 out of 10, I don't know. The sun here is just like ridiculous. So if your skin is like white as mine, just put a lot of SPF on you. One thing, you can get burnt if you don't wear SPF. The second thing is skin cancer. Yes, people in the comments can be like, oh, I've spent 30 years under the sun, I'm okay. Yes, but the technology and the research, the science, they're like at this level now. 50 years ago, they were like here. So saying, oh, we're all fine, we don't wear SPF, don't listen to those people. Wear SPF, please. The sun is still there looking for your skin to burn. If you move into Lisbon, don't use those bold bird scooters and bicycles. There is an application called Gira, and you can get an annual pass for your bike for 25 euros. Like what? Literally 25 euros for an annual pass. You can take a bike from a dock station, ride it for 45 minutes, and then you have an option of docking it back, waiting for some time, and then taking it again, because you have only 45 minutes of kind of like free ride, of the ride that's included in your price, or you can pay just extra, that's it. If you're a slow biker like myself, don't waste your money on Bird and Bolt, because every time we take the scooters with my husband, it's just like 6 euros. I'm like, bro, no, I'm not doing this again. And the next thing to avoid is taking the 28th tram. Yes, it's iconic, yes, it's the typical Lisbon tram, but here's the thing. First of all, there are other trams available in the city. Second of all, the number of pickpocketers is just crazy. Thirdly, if you really want to go on that tram, so it starts from 2 stops. First one, Martim Moniz. That's the most popular one where all the tourists are located. The end stop is Campo de Ourique. So if you go to this stop, Campo de Ourique, near the cemetery, the tram's gonna be empty because all the tourists are downtown at Martim Moniz. We literally waited, I think, for half an hour for the tram. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was fun, it was cute, whatever. Would I ever stand for 30 minutes to get on a tram? I don't think so. And speaking of pickpocketers, don't ever put your phone, your wallet in your back pockets, especially if you're in Lisbon. It's just crazy how many pickpocketers are here. I feel like everyone knows that, but people still put their phones in the back pockets and then they're like, oh, they stole my phone. Well, yeah, that's what pickpocketers do. Especially if you're on the Pink Street, especially if you're downtown, especially if you're watching some street performances. Just hold your phone like this, your bags like this, just watch your phone. If you enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I've noticed that 80% of you are not subscribed. I don't like that. Let's be friends. Subscribe, like, and move into the next thing. And the next thing is, don't assume that bread, butter, olives, and all the entradas that they bring you in a restaurant, they are free. So what I've learned is that in countries like Portugal, Spain, they will bring you olives and bread. So it's basically like a cover for them, for the tips. They will charge you around like 2 or 3 euros, but it's the way to protect the restaurant, basically, so they kind of like make money. In some restaurants, even if you don't touch the bread or the olives or the butter, they will still charge you. And honestly, when I just moved to Portugal, I was like, what the hell? I haven't even looked at those olives. But then I was like, you know what? 2-3 euros. If I go to a restaurant in Canada, I would still tip that amount of money. So, I mean, why not? The next tip is for my ladies out there. Please don't bring those heels to Lisbon or Porto or like any city in Portugal. If you didn't know, Portuguese streets are basically calçada. Calçada is cobblestone. If you're planning to go out, party, drink, look gorgeous, leave your heels at home, honestly. Unless you're planning to Uber everywhere, then sure, you can wear heels. But if you're planning on walking, girl, just don't do it. I mean, I've seen some ladies wearing platforms, which is okay, but like heels, leave them at home. The next tip is for my people who are planning to visit some Fado concerts. Fado is the traditional music here in Portugal, and you can find a lot of places where you can listen to Fado. But the thing is, you're not allowed, I forbid you, okay? To talk, to chat, to eat while the fadista is singing. I've heard stories when the fadista is like, done. Until the hall is quiet, I'm not singing anymore. The thing is, Fado traditionally is sang in small rooms, I would say, with great acoustics. So if you start your or even like chewing, everyone's gonna hear that. So if you're planning to go to a Fado concert, please bear in mind that you need to be quiet when fadista is singing. And a pro tip, please be careful on the streets of Lisbon and don't buy those drugs that they sell. First of all, they're not real drugs. Those are basically flour, bay leaf, everybody knows that, but tourists will still like, oh, I'm gonna smoke some weed, yeah, I'm gonna buy from those guys on the Rossio Square. If you're planning to make borscht, then yes, you can buy from this guy some bay leaf and put it in your soup, but just don't waste your time, don't waste your money. They will like walk behind you and be like, shish, marijuana. It's bullshit. Just listen to Miss Yulia, it's bullshit. I feel like not everyone knows that you cannot like sell drugs like this, because listen, if it was real drugs, do you think the police be standing there like watching these guys? Of course not. So please don't fall for this tourist trap and don't do drugs, obviously, right? And this is it for today. If you've been to Lisbon or you live in Lisbon, share in the comments what else people should know about visiting Lisbon and Portugal, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!